Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I was late getting my first video out and late getting this second video out because I was at my son's spelling bee. I said I'm at my son's spelling bee. My first video is late because he just won't misspell anything. I thought he'd be done by the second round. He made it. He made it about to the 6th or 7th round. I was surprised, and he went out on this word, which I don't think I ever have even heard of. So when they said it, I was like, well, I couldn't spell that because I've never even heard of the word. Filigree is a delicate art form of metalwork that involves twisting, curling, or plating thin metal threads or wires to create intricate patterns. Oh well, you learn something every day. Now, I believe that my wife set a trap for me around the house this morning. And I just wanted to ask the question: have any of you guys do any of you guys out there, do your wives do this? Because I think she does it intentionally. It's little things. It's like they're setting traps for you. It's these little things that are done, and they're just testing you to see just how sorry their husband can be. That's what they're doing. So what the simple old thing she did is somebody took the trash out, and then there's no trash bag in the trash can. Now, if this was me, it'd be something I just forgot to do because I don't set traps. But these women, I'm telling you, I know, she'll leave the trash bag out just to see if I'll throw trash in it without putting a trash bag in, because I'm guilty of that before. And so every once in a while, I just feel like we're being tested. This is not my imagination. I know when I'm being tested. All right. This is Chris Giancarlo, who, by the way, Chris Giancarlo is coming to XRP Las Vegas. Go to xrplasvegas.com to get your tickets. We are almost at the total attendance in terms of tickets sold from last year, which was the record so far. There are going to be thousands, into the thousands of people at this thing this year. It's really crazy. In fact, I was talking to my dad, who is the official father of the Digital Asset Investor channel, and he said that he will be coming again this year, and there's a lot of his friends that are coming that have never been.
Recently climbing more than $100,000 per. This is investors anticipate Donald Trump will usher in a new era of crypto-friendly policies and legislation during his first 100 days. What's that mean to you? Chris Giancarlo is the former chairman of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission under Donald Trump. Good morning to you. Thanks for coming in here. Here's a Treasury document called Bitcoin Digital Gold. We've heard that before, okay? That's one element. Next one, Elon Musk praising El Salvador's Impreso crypto reserve. All right, so that's an interesting relationship. Why is this happening now? What does the incoming administration see as favorable for Bitcoin?
You know, there's a number of reasons why this is happening. One is because the technology has come about. We finally reached the stage of the internet where we can go beyond storing information on the internet to actually storing things of value. Things of value like wealth, things of value like ownership of a home. This is what they call the new wave of the internet, an internet of value, and the technology's there. In fact, when you think about Bitcoin or Ethereum or these others, what they really are is protocols that allow us to store value on the internet, as opposed to the way we've been doing it in human society for only the last 400 years, storing value in basically an IOU from a financial institution. And as we've learned in the last 40 years, during which the internet has never gone down, banks have failed, including 3 banks of America's top 20 just in the last 3 years. So moving value storage on the internet is an idea whose time has come.
Okay, you got that?
Kind of. I'm going to ask you this. So on call for number 4, this is the number of crypto millionaires that's been surging. Okay, so I think one of the things that happens, and you had a good question to him initially, which is What does it mean for you? Because when most people are thinking about themselves, like, well, I don't understand this stuff, so I don't know how to invest in it. One thing you said is crypto is the umbrella, right? Is that right?
That's right.
And then Bitcoin is one type of crypto.
That's right.
And there are lots of different types of crypto.
Exactly.
So what's a good crypto and what's a bad crypto? How do you know?
Right. So just as there's multiple protocols for storing information, there's HTML, HTTP. They all do different things. Some are good for website establishment. Some are good for email. In a similar way, different cryptos allow you to store different values. Bitcoin, which is the most widely known and has had the most spectacular success, might be the equivalent, as you said, Bill, to digital gold. In the previous world, the analog world, what cash was to gold, in the digital world, digital money may be to Bitcoin. Let me give you another example. We live in a time where 1 out of every $4 has been printed in the last 5 years. We are actively debasing our currency. And at the same time, Bitcoin has, into its design, programmed scarcity. You can never have more than a certain amount of Bitcoin. And so the dollar is depreciating, Bitcoin is appreciating. Quick factoid. In 2018, the average American home would have cost you over $260,000 and over 400 Bitcoin. Today, the average American home is now over $460,000. It would cost you less than 5 Bitcoin. What's been the better investment over the last 5 years, Bitcoin or dollars?
I mentioned the tweet from Elon Musk. The reason he did that is because the government of El Salvador, a tiny little Central American country, they embrace crypto.
Yes.
I think it was 2 years ago, I believe now. So they've got 24 months of a track record. Has it worked for them?
Well, I don't know exactly the price, but 2 years ago, Bitcoin would have been less than $30,000 a Bitcoin. Today, it's over $100,000. So they've seen threefold increase of their value of their reserves in El Salvador.
So
it looks like a pretty good investment.
It looks like it's a pretty good deal for them.
Pretty good deal for them.
Okay, let's move along. Matt Hogan, who's with, he's the CIO of Bitwise. The media's coverage of crypto regulation always fails to explain why the question, is crypto a security or commodity, actually matters. He says the U.S. divides financial regulation into 2 buckets, SEC, CFTC. In fact, down here, I wanted you to see this point. Commodities can't provide insider disclosures, so they get regulated a different way. Try asking gold to discuss its Q3 financial results. It literally makes no sense. So the CFTC focuses on other things like creating fair markets. That's why digital assets need to be commodities. Brad Garlinghouse responded to the John Reed Stark comment. He says, John, while you may not know Gary Gensler, you sounded an awful lot like him with statements that are bold-faced misrepresentations, a polite way of saying lies. They certainly sounded like Gensler talking points. No licensures, no utility. All judges have said tokens are securities. Crypto makes it easier to do all crime. These are all provably false, and 60 Minutes could have easily fact-checked before including them. The actual scourge of society is not crypto. It's failing to see when the SEC, created to protect investors, does the exact opposite under the guise of public service. But credit where credit is due. You've called for the SEC to withdraw its appeal in the Ripple case. On that, we agree. Let's see if John Stark has replied since I pulled this up. Let me see here. Everybody's giving him a hard time, but I haven't seen his reply yet. Look at Mr. Intuitive. Click John. Are you there? Oh me. All right. So then I had a question because I wanted John Reed Stark to answer this. The FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried was covered as this big fraud, but what was not covered is this. This is a Tom Emmer tweet from a while back. Interesting. Gary Gensler runs to the media while reports to my office allege he was helping Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX work on legal loopholes to obtain a regulatory monopoly. We're looking into this. And this is John Reed Stark talking to CNBC about
what do you
this.
make of the dinners?
I didn't put down
What do you make of the dinners? And
yeah, they were having dinner with FTX. Gary Gensler's people were having dinners with FTX and meeting with them and planning their monopoly, the regulatory monopoly. The same way, remember, Ethgate was the first attempt at regulatory capture by the SEC. FTX was the second. And John Reed Stark, he loves to answer questions and talk. So talk about that. That's what I want to know. I want to know from him. Well, now that you're aware of this, should the public know what Gary Gensler and them were meeting with FTX about?
Meetings and the like with Gary Gensler, with the general counsel who's now leaving the SEC. Is that it doesn't look good? It's worse than that. It's better than that.
And remember who he said in one of these threads today, who he said his good buddy was, Scaramucci, one of the main guys behind FTX.
To have relationships, you don't want to have. I mean, I can see all sides of it. I'm just curious where you land.
Sure, I'll tell you exactly where I land. I would be shocked if they didn't have meetings with all these people. When I was chief of the Office of Internet Enforcement, I did that for 11 years. We used to routinely call in all the general counsels of all the big online brokerage firms and just sit down with them and ask them what we were doing right, what we were doing wrong, what they thought we were screwing up. You know, it's very important, that sort of outreach. Now, you try not to meet with con artists and fraudsters.
Right.
You do the best
What about
you
the
can.
dinner piece? Does the dinner piece matter? I mean, maybe it doesn't. By the way, I've had source meetings with all sorts of people over dinners.
Would it matter if they were planning a regulatory monopoly with FTX, John Reed Stark?
Meals and all sorts of things.
No, I don't like it. I never did that. Okay, I never went to dinner with any of these entities. Unless they were my friends, then I went to dinner with them. And there's a fine line because, you know, you're in the industry. But I don't like that. I like
Would it matter if they were helping to launder money into Democrat candidates' pockets?
to keep the meetings official. But I don't
Through
think these
Ukraine.
are impeachable offenses. You know, they might be bad judgment. But, you know, if the fact that Gary Gensler, if he hadn't met with Sam Bankman-Fried or his team hadn't met with him, I would be shocked.
And there's the tweet. He was working with SBF and FTX to work on legal loopholes to obtain a regulatory monopoly. And then I saw this going around today. Mike Novogratz. Here's Katie Hawn. There's Mike Novogratz. Talk about FTX. I hadn't seen Katie Hawn in a while.
Your story.
She's just happens to pop up in Ethgate. She's also on stage with Sam Bankman-Fried and had this to say.
Is really interesting to me. And we were talking about this a little bit backstage. So Katie actually went to the
And
stand.
don't forget, this is the same woman that prosecuted Ripple in 2015 as a assistant U.S. attorney, where they had to pay a $700,000 fine, and XRP was called a virtual currency.
Law school and studied with Sam's mother
And father.
and father. So,
They taught me
there's
what I knew
but
about
they had
law.
actually never met in person until just now.
Well, for a couple decades.
Right.
Like,
Since
Sam might
yeah,
be the
you
first
saw him
person
when
in
he was a
crypto
little,
I ever met.
She knew Sam when he was a little kid.
Yeah. And then we've got this. This is Cash Patel. He's talking about finding out where the money went when it went to Ukraine. And I told him, start here. What is the alleged connection between SBF, Fried, FTX, Democrats, and Ukraine? And then we got this. Top Ukraine officials, 1.5 million in USDT seized in embezzlement probe. So if you're going to look into it, you might want to look in these two places, Cash. Then, I don't understand this. Ryan Selkis, I respect Ryan Selkis for being one of the first people to go all in on Trump for crypto. I think he was right in that. But I don't understand how this guy goes. I mean, he had been an adversary to Ripple, and then he just switched and went from being an adversary to Ripple, and then he let Brad Garlinghouse dunk him in the dunking booth, and invited him to the Masari annual conference, and now he's back to the same stuff. By any reasonable definition, XRP is not a security. It's a pre-mined token whose primary owner and developer enriches itself via its sale. Ripple is the best thought of it as a game, as best thought of as a gaming studio, 60% take rate on XRP appreciation, but I still don't know what XRP does in the game. Well, I have an obvious question. Look, Ryan Selkis is not bashful. This guy's not afraid to go at it with people, and I'm not going at it with him. I'm asking him a simple question. I've been asking this to this guy, and he will not respond to it. I've been asking him about Ethgate. I got video. I got all kinds of stuff. that I'd love to have the answers to. First, this. Hey, why do you never address how Consensus, Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin, and Joseph Lubin enriched themselves by dumping on retail in secret while having disguised all the whales in the ICO? Ripple has been transparent while they have hidden everything. Is being transparent their true sin? And then Cowboy Crypto, who is the official cowboy of the Digital Asset Investor channel, drops this in there, and he says, Ryan was an entrepreneur in residence at Consensus. He's also from JP Morgan, by the way, folks. And then I said, today this came out, ETH nears all-time high. I said, hey, Ryan, where's the tweet where you bash the Ethereum founders for enriching themselves? Okay, and this is a good clip from Kathy Wood. Listen to this.
The regulatory environment is a morass now. I mean, when you put people in positions as regulators and they start building their empires, you get more and more regulations, and it's really had a stranglehold on businesses, especially small and medium businesses. So we think those shackles are going to come off. We think the biggest regulatory changes are going to happen because SEC Chairman Gensler is going. He's announced he's leaving on January 20th. So the digital asset world, we think, is now about to take off and thrive.
You are damn right. Okay, in DAIXRP.com, we're going to talk about XRP price. I'm also going to show you this token that is on my radar. I have bought some. I'm going to show you the one I'm talking about. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm going to tell you, I think I've told you that I bought this one, but it pops up once again. And this thing keeps popping up, and I want to bring it up again in DAIXRP.com. You can join DAIXRP.com. Look in the description of this video, and there's a link right there. Just click on it. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.